These are the world records so dangerous they'll never be broken again. Every one of them pushed the human body way past its limits, and some of these people were lucky to survive at all. And before we jump in, hit that subscribe button before one of these maniacs tries another stunt and turns it into a crime scene. Let's start with one of the craziest sights ever caught on camera. Number 1, the Bee-Man, Ruan Liang-ming. He didn't wear armor, he didn't wear protection, he wore bees, 637,000 of them. In 2014, Chinese beekeeper Ruan Liang-ming covered his entire body with living bees, setting the world record for the heaviest mantle of bees on a human body. All in, that swarm weighed over 60 kilograms, about the same as a full-grown man. Now here's the insane part. He stood completely still while those bees crawled over his eyes, face, and mouth. One wrong movement, one sting to the airway, and that record attempt could have become a funeral. But Ruan didn't flinch. The man stood there for over an hour while his assistants literally shoveled bees onto him like sand at a beach. He later said he used the queen bee's scent to keep the swarm calm, but even then, just thinking about being covered head to toe in 500,000 stingers is enough to make most people's skin crawl. That record still stands today, and no one's dumb enough to try to beat it. But if you think standing perfectly still under a mountain of bees is terrifying, wait until you meet the guy who froze himself alive. Number 2, the Iceman, Wim Hof, January 23rd, 2009. A man from the Netherlands climbed into a box filled with ice cubes and stayed there. Not for a few minutes, not for half an hour, for 1 hour, 42 minutes, and 22 seconds. His name, Wim Hof. The world now knows him as the Iceman. Doctors said it was impossible. A human body can't survive that long in freezing conditions without going into hypothermic shock. But Wim Hof doesn't play by the usual rules of biology. He claims he can consciously control his body temperature using meditation and breathing, and he's proved it, not just with this record, but by climbing part of Mount Everest in shorts. During his ice endurance attempt, his skin temperature dropped dangerously low, but his core temperature remained stable. What's wild is that researchers actually studied him later and found he really can influence his autonomic nervous system. He's basically living science fiction, and that's why this record has never been broken. But while Wim Hof beat nature with focus and breathing, this next guy fought gravity itself and almost didn't make it back alive. Number 3, Jamie Pierre's 250-foot ski jump. In the world of skiing, people go big, but Jamie Pierre, he went impossible. This professional free skier launched himself off a 250-foot cliff, no parachute, no ropes, no safety net, just skis, snow, and a prayer. He hit freefall so fast that he almost reached terminal velocity before crashing into a snowbank below. Most people wouldn't survive that kind of impact, but somehow Jamie stood up afterward, dazed, bruised, but alive. His landing was pure luck. The snow was deep enough to cushion his fall just enough. Even rescue teams on site thought he was gone when they saw the drop. That one stunt made him a legend in the skiing world, but it also became his last record-breaking jump. He later admitted he never wanted anyone to try it again, and honestly, no one has, because there's no technique for surviving something like that, only gravity and a bit of divine intervention. But from falling off cliffs to running straight through them, this next record is pure brute force. Number 4, J.D. Anderson, the human battering ram. Some people break limits. J.D. Anderson breaks ice.
Go.
In March 2017, he set out to break the record for the most ice blocks shattered by a human body. Not with tools, not with hammers. By charging headfirst into them like a human missile. He smashed through 12 giant blocks, each one solid, thick, and freezing cold. The sound was unreal, like boulders cracking. He came just 2 blocks short of the world record, but honestly, the pain alone was enough to make headlines. Doctors watching the stunt said the force needed could easily cause a concussion or even spinal injury, but JD walked it off, proving he's basically built like a superhero. Still, he later admitted he couldn't move his neck properly for weeks. And speaking of smashing through solid objects, the next guy decided to do it with glass. Number 5. Mike O'Hearn and the Glass Pane Gauntlet, 19 sheets of glass, one man, and a few seconds to break them all. Mike O'Hearn, fitness model, bodybuilder, and apparently part tank, ran full speed through 19 glass panes in a row. Each pane shattered on impact, sending razor-sharp shards flying everywhere. The previous record was 18, but Mike took it one step further. The danger here wasn't just cuts. Every failed break could have meant broken bones or permanent injuries. Thousands of fragments tore through the air as he pushed through one after another, glass exploding around him. When he finally came out the other side, covered in dust and scratches, the crowd went wild. That clip went viral for a reason. It's equal parts bravery and insanity. But if breaking glass wasn't wild enough, the next guy balanced an entire car on his head. Number 6, John Evans. The man with the strongest neck on earth, John Evans doesn't lift weights. He lifts cars on his head. This British strongman discovered his strange talent by balancing heavy objects for fun, but he took it way beyond party tricks. In one stunt, he balanced a 350-pound car on his head for 33 full seconds. No helmet, no support, just his neck taking the full load. Crowds watched in disbelief as he calmly stood still, holding the car steady like it was nothing. Doctors said the pressure could have crushed his spine instantly if he tilted just slightly off center. But Evans trained his neck muscles for years. His balance was so precise, it looked fake. That record still stands, because who in their right mind wants to try holding a car on their skull? But if you thought that was heavy, the next guy had 4 motorcycles pulling him apart. Number 7, Franz Mueller, the motorcycle pull. How do you test your strength? Most people hit the gym. Franz Mueller tied 4 motorcycles to his limbs and told them to hit the throttle. In 2014, this Austrian strongman stood in the middle of a runway while 4 bikes pulled him from all sides, each accelerating hard. The force? Over 500 newtons, enough to dislocate your shoulders or tear muscle clean off bone. But somehow he held on for 24 seconds, shattering the previous record of 10. It was a tug of war against machines, and Mueller didn't budge. By the time it was over, the bike's tires were burning rubber and the crowd was losing it. That record's never been broken because, let's face it, nobody wants to find out how it feels to be pulled apart like a medieval torture device. And while he pulled off the impossible, another man decided to lie down and let motorcycles drive over him. Number 8, Shane Holgren's bed of nails stunt. Shane Holgren, known as the Aussie stunt performer Shane the Hammer, isn't new to pain, but this record might be his most insane. He laid down on a bed of nails, hundreds of them, and let motorcycles use him as a ramp 20 times.
Okay, go.
Each pass of those heavy bikes pressed the nails deeper into his skin. The audience winced as the motorcycles bounced off his body, the nails bending slightly under the pressure. Any slip up, one wrong angle, or loss of balance, and the nails could have pierced straight through. He later said the pain was beyond anything he'd felt before, but he refused to quit until the last jump, and somehow he walked away with nothing worse than scratches. Number 9. Felix Baumgartner's freefall from the edge of space. In 2012, Austrian skydiver Felix Baumgartner climbed into a helium balloon and rose higher and higher until he reached the stratosphere, 127,000 feet above Earth. And then he jumped. For 4.5 minutes, Felix was in freefall, plummeting toward the Earth at 843 miles per hour. That's faster than the speed of sound. He became the first human to break the sound barrier without a vehicle. Cameras on his suit captured the entire descent. The Earth's curve visible beneath him, clouds racing by like streaks of white paint. For a few terrifying seconds, he lost control and started spinning uncontrollably. Had he blacked out, it would have been fatal, but he recovered, deployed his parachute, and landed safely, instantly becoming a legend. That record stands not just as a technical achievement, but as proof of how far humans will go for the thrill of a world record. And yet, there's one man who's not just daring, he's addicted to danger. Number 10, Ashrita Furman's underwater spear catching. Most people know Ashrita Furman as the guy who holds the most Guinness World Records in history, but one of his stunts could have easily ended his streak and his life. He decided to catch 14 spears underwater, one hand, one at a time, all fired from a spear gun just 2 meters away. The spears flew straight at him, each one deadly enough to impale him instantly. He wore goggles, held his breath, and caught every single one. One wrong move, one slip, and it's over. He later admitted it was one of the hardest and most dangerous records he's ever attempted. Even Guinness reportedly stopped approving similar underwater weapon records after realizing how risky it really was. Some people chase glory. These people flirted with death and somehow won. Every record here sits untouched, not because people can't beat them, but because no one wants to risk it. So which one blew your mind the most? The bees, the ice, or the guy who jumped from space? Drop your pick in the comments. I actually read them all. And hey, hit that subscribe button before someone else decides to balance a car on their skull for internet fame. Thanks for watching. And remember, records are temporary, but scars are forever.